Reading and writing go hand in hand with Into Reading. We want the text that the students are reading to model, inform, and inspire the text that they will write. And when we think about writing, there are really two parts to that. There's writing to respond, when students write in response to literature and write to sources. And then there's writing to create, which is our writing workshop. Where we teach the process and craft of good writing. With Into Reading, our students have multiple opportunities for writing to respond after each shared reading mini lesson, right within their My Book, both in print and digitally. This gives all students the opportunity to practice writing in response to literature and citing text evidence with open-ended text-dependent questions and prompts that will get our students thinking. In your week at a glance, you will find your writing workshop plans at the bottom outlined in green. But it's also important to point out that your writing workshop has its own separate teacher's edition. The writing workshop and Into Reading takes students through all aspects of the writing process in a consistent and systematic approach across all writing modes. Instruction is structured around 12 three-week modules covering a variety of genres and text types, meaning that students will create 12 pieces of published writing by the end of the year, not just 3 or 4. Each module guides students through the entire writing process from pre-writing and drafting to revising, editing, publishing, and sharing. Each module begins with the reading of a mentor text. Now, these texts are also mentioned and referenced inside your teacher edition as the reader's choice pieces for center opportunities. Okay, so dual purpose there, mentor texts and student choice. Our students look at that text through the eyes of a writer to notice author's craft and purpose and to launch their own writing. And with Into Reading, these mentor texts are provided for you. They aren't just a list of suggested titles in your teacher's guide that you have to go out and find. They come as part of the resources provided. After your students have started their rough drafts and have begun writing, we ultimately get to a place where we need to start to revise their work to make improvements. Notice inside the red box that when I get to the revision part of my writer's workshop, I have targeted grammar support. As a teacher, you have two different opportunities or two different ways in which you can teach grammar. You can wait until this point in the writing process so that students use their own authentic writing to look through the lens of grammar. You can also differentiate your grammar instruction based on the needs of your students. You will have access to a complete set of grammar mini lessons in the back of your writing workshop teacher's guide. These grammar lessons can easily be used whole group, during small group instruction, or simply while conferencing with your students. You can choose to teach grammar following the suggested scope and sequence that's found inside of your teacher's guide, or you can pick and choose the lessons that you want for, again, either small group or whole group or independently to customize to the exact needs of your students. And just as with the reading instruction, you will also have online access to engaging anchor charts and display and engage projectables that you can choose to use with your students to enhance their writing instruction. Okay, so where do I find all of my writing resources and grammar resources? I first want to just reiterate that if I'm in Discover, I have my grade level selected and I have my module selected. If I open the teacher's guide, yes, when I get to the week at a glance, I will see writing workshop in green at the bottom of my week at a glance plan. Okay. However, nowhere inside of this reader's workshop teacher's edition, if I'm talking about the print, or if I've selected the teacher's guide from the homepage, will have my writing or my grammar. Okay, so I have a couple of different ways in which I can search for and find that writing information. The first would be to very simply open up the specific week and lesson that you're looking at. Okay, so head straight to the drop downs underneath the module once you've selected it. And if you click on Open Lesson, and you've seen this now in some previous videos, it's going to list out for me all of my different components to my lesson. I think in the vocabulary video, we talked about how that one populates first. I've got my reading, different assessment options, small group. If I continue to drop all the way down to the bottom, or towards the bottom rather, I see my writing and I see my grammar for that particular lesson. This might be the easiest. Okay, but I'm going to show a second way as well. I guess before I leave here, just remember you can always do the show more or show less option. Clicking on the resource opens it. Options on the right hand side, whether you want to open, you can add it to a lesson, or if it's an assignable resource, you'll also see that option there as well. So that's one way. I'm going to head back to my Discover tab. You also, remember, can click the All Resource tile, and you have both a writing and a grammar tile. So if you wanted to specifically access the Writer's Teacher's Edition, I'm going to click on the writing tile, and I'm going to use the filters, and then more filters specifically will allow me to open up that writing workshop teacher's guide. So if I click on that component box for filters, okay, and once I'm there, remember, then you can start to use some of the other filters as well, the table of contents, the audience, the genre. So if I want to open the table of contents for that first module, okay, generically it's going to start at the very beginning. I can get a look to see what all of the titles are at my grade level. Okay. Same way as the Teacher's Edition, I'm tabbing currently with the arrows on the left and right hand part of the screen. Or again, you can go to the table of contents and select on any one of those lessons that you want to jump to. Materials, same as reading, are listed in the margin. Okay. Or if you get to a display and engage poster or an anchor chart or a worksheet, okay, all of those are going to be live linked inside of your Writer's Teacher's Edition or your Writer's Workshop Teacher's Edition. One thing I also want to show as it pertains to grammar is, because we get a lot of questions about that grammar piece. So all resources, I'm going to click on the grammar tile. And if you hope to teach one grammar lesson per day, you're going to access this grammar scope and sequence, which is typically it's going to be the third item listed once you select the grammar tile. This will give you a day-by-day, lesson-by-lesson, week-by-week grammar lesson for each and every day. So what's referenced here is the teacher's guide, the display and engage poster that you will use for your instruction, and any printables that we have for your students. So I'm going to open this first lesson, which is simple and complete subjects and predicates. Okay. Notice it's always going to pull up all the worksheets for the week. So that's lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It chunks it nicely, so if you by accident run off all of them for printing, you don't print off 100 some odd worksheets. Top right-hand corner allows me to download and or print. Okay, so even if you did not purchase any workbooks, okay, for students, you have that opportunity as well.